moderator. Today we will be covering how to become a more effective real estate agent. Welcome to the webinar. Our organizer for today is Mr. Jeff Jabora. I'd like to give Jeff the floor to make the introduction. Jeff, are you there?
Yes. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jeff Jabora, and I'm the National Director of Growth and Development for Allison James Estates and Homes. I'd like to give a special thank you to the sponsor of today's webinar, Movement Mortgage. They provide us with the ability to provide free training and education for our agents. And we actually have a special guest with us from Movement Mortgage this morning, Senior Loan Officer Amanda Weeks. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, everybody. Just real quickly, my name is Amanda Weeks. I'm a Senior Loan Officer with Movement Mortgage. I would love to tell you guys why I love working with Movement. We have been named Inc. 500's fastest growing mortgage company for the last 2 years in a row. Movement Mortgage has actually revolutionized the way mortgages are done. We approve all of our borrowers before you guys actually find them a home. We can issue loan approvals within 24 hours. Our typical upfront underwriting turn time is about 6 hours. Once you're in escrow, we strive to have conditions cleared for your borrowers within 7 days. So if there's any issues, we can find that out within the first week, which means we can close very quickly as well. Our average time from the beginning of application to loan documents is about 16 days. I've closed numerous loans in 8 days, so if you ever have something fall apart last minute, we can definitely step in and help you guys with those types of transactions as well. We are also a direct lender with table funds. This cuts the funding time into a matter of hours, not days. We are also internet-based, just like Allison James. All of our applications and conditions are submitted electronically to the underwriter, and processing is all done electronically as well. We have digital marketing pieces that are ready for you upon request. We can have them sent to you directly same day with your contact information for open houses, door knocking flyers, general educational pieces, whatever you guys need, we're here to support your business. We're very excited to be working with such a revolutionary company. We hope to build many relationships with you guys. Please don't hesitate to call me day or night. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Once again, everyone, my name is Jeff Jabora, and I am the National Director of Growth and Development. Here is my contact information. Should you have any questions about today's training or anything about our brokerage, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'd be delighted to speak with you. I'd also like to give you a brief history on the, a brief background on the history of our company. Matt Crumbaugh is our CEO. This is a family-owned company. His father, James Allison Crumbaugh III, was actually the founder of the company. Matt Crumbaugh's wife, Jessica Crumbaugh, is actually the vice president and top producing realtor with us here at Allison James Estates and Homes. We've recently come up on some very, very great recognition in the industry. Matt Crumbaugh was actually voted the top 100 most powerful people in the entire residential real estate industry. Our brokerage was actually voted in the top 100 in 2 different categories here, transaction and sales volume. So we definitely have a lot of great agents here, very productive brokerage. We would be delighted to speak with you more about it. One of the many things that attracts agents to work with our brokerage is the fact that we pay our agents 100% of their hard-earned commission. We have plans that cater to agents of all levels of production. Once again, folks, here's my contact information. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions about our brokerage. I'd be delighted to speak with you. Without further hesitation, I'd like to introduce our presenter for this morning, Mr. Tracy Brown, our Virginia State broker. Good morning, Tracy.
Hi, good morning. How's everyone doing? Good, good, good. Well, I'll get right into the program that we've talked about. And we'll get started right away. I want to share a couple of things with you. I know all realtors out there, you're extremely busy. You have a lot to do. But I will tell you, like Elizabeth Taylor told her fourth husband, don't worry, I won't keep you long. So I will not keep you too long today, but I want to share some things with you that can really impress upon how you can transition yourself in the business. Today you will learn what not to do in the business, how to generate a higher income, how to delegate. That's killing a lot of agents in the industry. And then where to spend your time in the business. I will share with you, I have over 25 years in the real estate industry. I came into the business at 21 years of age, and I began to go around the United States and take a lot of lessons and training from several different agents and different people who are experts in the industry. And I found some out there that really impressed me, and I followed their model. And with their model, I was able to do extremely well in the business. I don't tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you. If I can, you can do the same thing as well. Now, a lot of people want to know is this information concrete? Will it work? Well, it worked for me. Some of the things you hear today, you can use it at will. Some things you may not like to do, but I'm going to give you a mindset in the industry. How I've owned a franchise, real estate franchise in the business. I've been in my own business for quite some time now, and I've worked with several agents. And in the business, I've learned something about agents, how they work. Now, I set up a model in the program that some of the things I'll share with you today is that I didn't work weekends, and I took off every day at 5 o'clock, and I still did extremely well in the business. I used to have agents who get upset with me. How this young man can do all this business and doesn't work weekends? Well, there's a system in place, and I want to share with you some of the 9 specific ideas of top producers, what I've learned all over the U.S. and I've been coached on, and these ideas will really help you transform where you are and what to actually do. We're going to go right into the first one. What does top producers do? You will understand this as we go through the process, and I'll share some things with you. And I will share with you as we go to the next slide here. Top producers focus 90% of their time on listings and 5% on buyers. What does that mean? Well, market share is extremely important in the industry. If you take more listings, you have other agents to show your properties and sell your properties. You have market share and you control. If you work in majority of buyers, you're working yourself too hard. You will get some buyers from having the listings, but however, your main focus will not be the buyers. And if you estimate how much money you're generating now to get a buyer and to close a buyer, I'll assure you your average income is probably about $8 to $9 an hour. You can go anywhere and make that type of money without putting the stress load on yourself, and you can have benefits as well. So I want to share with you today a different concept. We say, number one, 90% focusing on listings and only 5% on buyers. Let's go to number 2 here. Now, some of you on the next one here, you may say, I don't believe that. Now, if you work with relocation buyers, that's okay if you have a system. But if you are sporadically working with relocation buyers and that's not your main market, you're selling yourself short. It takes you too much time to educate a relocation buyer to the community, to the school system, to everything in there, and for them to determine what product they really want. I recommend often to my agents to refer it out to someone who's a specialist in that department. You will not only save time, but you will make more money by not focusing on relocation buyers. So number 1, I said top producers spend 90% of the time on listings. Number 2, I talked about relocation of buyers. Listen to this here. Take control of your sellers and buyers. Most agents do not take control because they try to wing it. They don't have a presentation. They do not have a plan. I advise you right now to come up with a presentation. It can be an extremely simple presentation, but you have to know where you're going. I once heard a great speaker say, no one plans to fail, they just fail to plan. You have to have a plan. You have to have a direction. You have to be able to take control of the seller. One of the challenges I find with realtors when taking control of the seller is you take overpriced listings. Why do you take overpriced listings that will never sell? With a presentation, I wish I had more time, maybe I'll come back later, I can share with you how to overcome that objection. The number 1 thing you need to do with that is pre-qualify your seller. Do they have to move now or right away, or they're just considering to move now? If their motivation is not there to really move now, you're probably not going to get the price you want. You may want to wait on that. And with buyers, it is unbelievable how I hear and see agents showing a buyer 50 homes. My rule of thumb was that I show 3 homes and close. How am I able to do that? Because I pre-qualify my buyer. A ready, willing, and able buyer who wants to close and to be in their home in 30 days or less. If you're not there, I will refer the business out. Now, I'm taking you on a journey here to understand how to pre-qualify your sellers, your buyers, and how to have more time, but quality time, and make more money. So next, after we learn about the buyers and the sellers, you have to place high emphasis on delegation. These are some areas of delegation I see that really zap all the agents' time and energy. Now, I'm going to hit you with a question here, those who are listening out there. Why do you sit at a home inspection with a home inspector and the buyer? For you to do there, this is what I do normally in a situation. I meet the home inspector at the house, open up the house, and meet along with the buyer. Mr. Miss Buyer and home inspector, this is your time to learn about your house, and so the home inspector can spend time with you as well. Mr. Inspector, how long is your process going to take? 2.5 hours. I'll be back in 2 hours and 15 minutes. Make sure everything is done and secured, and we'll go from there. That's one rule. The next challenge I find with agents is, why are you spending time at the closing table? So you can give your buyer a chance to back out of the deal and ask you for some of your commission? This is what you do. You learn how to prep the stage. You call the buyer 2 or 3 days before or the day of. Mr. Miss Buyer, I've already looked over the HUD settlement statement. Everything looks good. If I've done my job, there's no need for me to come to closing. If I haven't done my job, I need to come to closing. I'm always there for you. I'll be getting in contact with you right after closing. Any questions? No questions. Thank you, sir. They're excited about closing. I don't need to be at the closing table. Then another area of the delegation is we have movement mortgage on. Let the lender do their job. If the lender does not do their job in a timely manner and follow up with you, find a new lender. I hire and fire lenders all the time. You should not have to do the lender's job. And last but not least, in reference to placing delegation is, do not babysit a transaction. You may want to invest in a transaction coordinator. Spend $250 to let that transaction be worked by a transaction coordinator. You don't even have to pay them until it closes. Delegating is extremely important to give you quality, effective, efficient time, and for you to be a better agent and to increase your income. Now, let's go to the fifth one here. Place high emphasis on inexpensive, effective personal promotion. My friends, I'm not concerned about what company you work for or how big of the company is you work for. The buyer and the seller are actually buying you. Your ability to sell them or sell for them. So you want to spend more time on branding yourself, not the company. Be the expert. Become an expert in your field. That is the least expensive way to do personal and effective promotion. Keep that in mind. So after you place emphasis on inexpensive marketing, promotion, or personalizing for yourself, there's another step. You want to put all repetitive follow-up work in a computer. Stop having your desk jumped with papers. I know me. I'm not the most organized. So I don't want to manage chaos. So I put all the information in a system, and I'm able to recall the information when I need the information. One of the challenges I find with agents is that they take a deal, they process the deal, and they move the file around on their desk for 30 to 60 days until it closes. And once the deal closes, guess what? They're out of business. You understand what I mean, right? Next here, I want to go to the next step to talk to you about. This is the big one, number 7 here. Number 7, this is what I found out about agents as we work with, and I want to share some things with you. Agents who are listening today, do not under any circumstances sanction incompetence. You got that? With self or the people around you. Let me explain this to you. All of us go through different phases in sales, regardless if you're a lender, a real estate agent, or whatever you sell. You go through these phases, and I'm going to share with you these phases so you can determine today exactly where you are. The first phase you go through in sales is unconscious incompetent. That's meaning you don't even know what you're doing. You make a sale just out of clear energy and excitement that you're in a business and you have an opportunity to sell. Then as you stay in the business a little while, you go to the level of conscious incompetent. Now at this point, you know you don't know what you're doing. Now at this point, you have to begin to figure out this thing. Get some training. Get a presentation for listings, a presentation for buyers, a presentation for marketing, so you can go to the next level of conscious competent. Conscious competent is a state that you get to where you know what you need to do every day. You need to go over your presentation. You need to have a plan every day. You need to have a closing, working with buyers and sellers. And now the ultimate level you want to get to is, this is the big level. Are you ready for the big level? You want to write this down. You want to get to the level of unconscious competent. How you did the close, but you just automatically close. It's like second nature to you. I would have agents that come up to me and say, how did you close that? I don't even know. I just practice, rehearse, drill, practice, rehearse, drill, and perform until I perfect the presentation where I can close. And that's what I share with you. You want to get yourself to that level so you can actually understand where you're going with that. So remember that. Do not, under any circumstances, sanction incompetence with self or the people around you. You want to develop and build you. With that said, I want to go to something you have to understand that the top producers really understand. And I want to teach you something today that really may change your perspective how to increase your business and how to make you become a better agent. Top producers concentrate 100% on the number of contacts made daily and the number of presentations made weekly. My friends, sales are just a numbers game. But the key is you have to know the numbers. You have to know how to define the numbers as well. And I want to teach you shortly here how to define what a contact is, what a lead is, and what an appointment is, which will help you get closer to your goal. So you have that. Concentrate 100% of the time on the number of contacts made daily and the number of presentations. And top producers concentrate 100% on the number of deals and not income. Why? Does anyone know why? Think about it. This is what happens. If you focus on the income, what if you have $1 million deal and you make $60,000? So if you made did $1 million deal and you made $60,000, you're probably finished for the year. Why? You have so much year left. If you focus on the number of deals, you may supersede $60,000 and make $500,000. But so often agents focus on the income. So they make that big deal, then they go on vacation for 7 or 8 months, and then they're struggling paying their taxes. So therefore now they're scrambling behind the 8 ball again, trying to survive in the business. The way the business is done today, you must have a system that's going to help you be effective. One of the things I want to do for you today is I want to actually share with you how the numbers incorporate into understanding how it works. All over North America, this is the research that has been done, and it shows some information here that is extremely important. It states that it takes one lead. I'm going to stay on this slide for a few minutes. It takes 12.5 contacts to generate one lead. Now, you have to define what a lead is. A lead should be a ready, willing, and able buyer who's ready to do business. I had a time frame. If you're ready to buy or sell a home in 30 days or less, that's considered as a lead to me. If you're ready to buy a home in 12 months, I wasn't interested. I put it in a particular file, and I will follow up with it when it gets warmer. What agents do is they get what we call lead-itis. They have all these leads, but none of these leads are really qualified, so therefore they're not getting any good business. So often agents try to buy leads from these companies. You're buying leads from these companies, but the leads haven't been pre-qualified. So therefore, a lot of times you're really not getting the bang for the buck. The bang for the buck. Let's go to the next level. So you got to determine a lead. And it states all of North America, when these agents was researched the top producers, for every 5 leads, it equates to 1 appointment. So when you get 5 quality leads, that equates to 1 appointment. Every day, what I used to do, I had a goal before I would go home. I had to generate so many contacts per day. My goal was 50 contacts a day, or I wouldn't go home. What is a contact? A contact is with a person who's eligible to purchase, not the child who answers the phone. It has to be an adult. I needed, and know every 12 and a half contacts, I was going to get a lead. I was going to hit on the lead. And after 5 leads, I was going to get 1 appointment. Set an appointment right away. And every 2 appointments equals 1 listing or sale. Now, my friends, this has been researched all over North America for the last 20 years. And if you follow these numbers, but I guarantee you, you'll find a lot of success. And listen to this. Every one listing or sale equals 1 closing. What I mean by doing the numbers is, once you define what a lead means to you, an appointment, and what it takes to do a listing and or buyer side, you can now determine your income. There's a program I do, which I'm not doing today, but it actually shares with you how to incorporate these numbers into your goals, into your income, where you can have more production to produce a healthier life for you and your family. That is crucial that you understand those numbers. Let's go to the next slide. This information I share with the next slide is extremely important. How to qualify leads, I just share that with you. I want to recap that. What is your definition of a lead? A lead is anyone who will buy or sell in blank days or less. Well, if you're a new agent in the business, it may be 6 months or less. If you're a more experienced agent in the business, maybe 30 days or less. Or even more experienced and you have a lot of leads, it may be 30 days or less. When I stopped selling, when I was at my peak in really selling and listing real estate, my rule of thumb was 7 days. You had to want to buy or sell in 7 days or less, or I wouldn't work with you. I will refer the business out. Well, how could you do that? You just turned good money away. Well, I had so many leads from prospecting that I could afford to give them to other agents and receive a referral fee and still get money. That's how I was able to increase my income that way. Now listen to this. What is your definition of a contact? A person who can make a decision to buy or sell. That's a definition of a contact, and we told you earlier it takes 12 and a half contacts to get 1 lead. My goal today is to share with you how to narrow this process down to the ridiculous, where you actually can begin to be a productive, top producing agent. This information is valuable, and I'm passionate about it because it really transformed my thinking and my life as well. And I hope you are able to share in some of these ideas and concepts that can really make a difference in your life. So you have to know how to qualify these leads. Now, before I go on to the next slide, the information I'm going to share with you in a second is not on the slide, but it's some good information that I'll share. I'll go to the next slide, then I'll share some brownie points and some good nuggets with you that can make a difference. So the moderator will take you to the next slide, and we'll talk. We'll talk after I go over this slide here in just a second. You may ask yourself, well, how do I add 25 deals of business? You remember earlier I shared with you it's just a numbers game, and I gave you the numbers, 12 and a half contacts equals 1 lead. Well, it also boils down to time prospecting. I'm going to give you some information on that as well. 10 hours of prospecting per week equates to 125 contacts per week. Well, what does that mean to you? Let's say you only work 5 days, Monday through Friday. 5 days, that's 2 hours a day. That's not a lot of work. But you have to have a plan, not just haphazardly. You have to have a presentation. You have to have a plan. And I would sit there on that phone, and I would say, hi, I'm Tracy Brown with XYZ Company, and I would like to know, when do you plan on moving? That was a simple question, isn't it? Not difficult. And then based on their response, I knew what to say next, and I could find out their motivation as we talk, and I would determine if it was a decent contact or a lead, or I will put it in a reticular file, or I will give it to another agent. So 125 contacts per week, 10 hours of prospecting per day. Listen to this, 10 leads generated per week, 2 hours of lead follow-up work per week. That takes you 30 minutes a day. Go on 2 listings per week, have 2 closings per month, and you put on 25 extra deals, more than what you're doing now. How many of you would like to do that? you have to have a plan. And I hate to tell you this, I've been working with agents for a while. I have quite a few agents myself, and most of them do not maximize their potential because they don't have a plan in place. And my goal is for you to have a plan. Something I want to share with you about a plan right now is some time management tips. And a couple time management tips that will help you understand is you have to delegate everything that you do that does not lead to production. You have to learn how to delegate it, or don't waste time on it. I want to share with you something, how to have a perfect day, in reference to how you can generate 25 additional deals more than what you're doing now. And you want to write this down because it's not on the screen. I'm just leaving that up there on the screen right now, but I want you to write this information down. If you want to increase your production, these are the things that you need to do right away. To have a prospecting technique. Number one, I'm not going to tell you what technique to use. You need to find a prospecting technique. Write that down. The next thing you need to do, you need to be able to have a goal or some type of chart that states how many attempts per day that you have in the contacts. To write down how many attempts per day, how many calls you made per day. You need to know that because it's a numbers game, because we know if you make so many calls, you're going to get a contact. You make so many calls, you're going to get a lead. So I say prospecting technique, attempts made per day, and then listen to this one right here. You want to know, you want to figure out the average of your contacts per day, how many contacts you have per day. You want to know your attempts per day, your number of contacts per day, and your number of leads per day. You want to begin to gauge this because you can know where you are at any time. I used to coach agents, and what I would do is I would have them record this information. I could tell you the agents who were working. I can see agents who are working hard, but they say I'm still not getting results. Then I can come back and share with them why they're not. It's normally like the presentation, or they're not effective in their what they're doing in their sales. The next is you need to write down your number of appointments per day. You want to take your average number of appointments that you per day. When you look at the number of appointments you have in a month, you got to know that, because see, that's determining how many deals you're going to do. And then you want to determine your deals per month. Set a goal of the number of deals per month that you would like to have. And then you want to also keep an account, a record of the number of referrals that you have. That's extremely important, the number of referrals that you're getting, because all this is going to condition you to understand how to add deals, more deals than you have right now. If I cannot express enough, you have to know how to do that. Now I'm going to share something with you as another nugget, and I want you to label this on your paper, how to establish and follow your perfect day. These items I want you to put in your perfect day, and I want you to have certain times every day you would do this. I'll give you an example. My day would consider in the morning, I will get up like 5:30 in the morning. After I get up in the morning, kind of get myself pumped and motivated. You know, I would pray because I'm a Christian. I would pray. But then after I do that, I had a ritual. I would go to the gym, get my workout on. After I get my workout on, I knew I wanted to get in the office at a certain time, by 8 o'clock in the morning. Then 8 o'clock in the morning, I will look at my work for following up what I need to follow up on that day. And then by 9 o'clock, I knew to start my prospecting. So in your perfect day, these are all the items you want to have in your perfect day. I'm not telling you what times to do these items, but you want to include this in your perfect day. Number one, a prospecting time. You got to have a prospecting time. Number two, if you're taking listings, you want to have a price reduction time. This is the time you call on your sellers and reduce the prices of their homes. You have a certain time to do that, not sporadically do that. Next is you want to have a time that you do listing presentations, what time you actually go on listing presentations. That's how I was able not to work weekends. I will set an appointment with them. And trust me, if you have a buyer or seller who's really motivated, you don't always have to work around their time. They will work around your time. Trust me. I've done it for many years. Next is you want to have a time that you negotiate all contracts. So some agents just haphazardly, as soon as they get a contract, they run it over to the seller's house, or they run in here, run in there, going back and forth. No, you have a time that you negotiate that contract. That's every day. Next, you want to have a time to get administration items done. Not just because you're sitting in the office and don't have a deal. You should spend that extra time prospecting. because you always want to be generating new business so you don't go out of business when you close your last deal. Next is you want to preview properties. Have a time to preview properties. You got to know your inventory. Most agents don't do well in the business. They don't know how to close because they don't really know their inventory. So they're winging it just like the buyer is or the seller. You go to the house, you're taking a buyer to the house, and you say, oh, this looks nice. I've never seen this before. Well, that's not a good close. You have to have a closing effective close. Next is personal promotion. You should have a time every day for your personal promotion. When you're just promoting yourself as an expert, if you have a social media site or a website where you're sending out information as you as an expert. And last but not least, in your perfect day, you got to have this. Are you ready for this one? This is the biggest one of all. You must incorporate this last one in your plan. The last one is a time to play. That's right, a time to play. But guess what? Most agents play all day. Probably work 1 hour out of the day. They play 7 hours. They go home after 8 hours, and then they're frustrated with their family because they don't have any new business. And they're massaging this one deal that's getting ready to close. Then when that closes, they're out of business. My friends, you can be very effective and efficient and be a top producer by following the guidelines, some things I shared with you today. I hope the information I shared today can make an impact, a positive impact in your real estate career. And I look forward to meeting you out there, wherever it may be. I'm in the state of Virginia. I'm the broker of Virginia. If I can help you, let me know. I want to see everyone succeed. I've been excited about this business. I've been in over 25 years. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But thank you for your time today. It was exciting sharing with you. And I want you to be able to take this information and have it to impact your life. But before I leave you, I want you to do something for me. You have to know your purpose. See, making money is not your purpose. You have to determine exactly what your purpose is in life. I was motivated in the business of purpose of making an impact and a difference in educating those who are less informed on how to empower themselves through real estate. I got a passion out of empowering people and educating them. And I use that as a tool of education to teach them about how to purchase affordable housing, HUD homes, all these type inexpensive programs and grants. And I got excited about it. What is your purpose? Is your purpose to make money for your child's education? Is your purpose just to get rich and just die? What is your purpose? You have to have a purpose. Purpose gives meaning. See, the goal is to assist you on getting deals in spite of the fight, in spite of the challenges you have. The biggest struggle is with yourself, not with others. You have to raise your expectations. And everything I gave you today it's about raising your expectations. Again, I really appreciated this time of sharing with you today. I hope the information has impacted your life in some way. And I just ask you to keep reaching for the stars. I'll see you at the top.
Okay, we're going to open up the line for questions now. This is the moderator. We are using GoToWebinar as I shared earlier. So you will have two screens, and over to your right is the control panel that you minimize and maximize, where you can actually type in your question, or you can raise your hand. I saw a few hands raised earlier. But most of you will be just typing in your questions. So you simply type in, and I will read the question to Mr. Brown and allow him to answer here live. So just give me a moment to queue up the first question. Okay, here's the first question from Elizabeth Field. What inexpensive personal promotions do you use?
Well, I didn't have to do a lot of personal promotion. The most inexpensive way is just keeping your name out there as the expert. With my prospecting, I didn't have to. I got everything by referral base. So the best personal promotion I did really was I committed to 2 to 3 hours every day on the phone prospecting and asking my prior customers for business. I will keep them informed of the market, of some of the things that were going on. And before I get off the phone, I will say, by the way, do you know at least 5 people who may be able to use my services or would like to improve their life and their standards with improving real estate in their life, something to that effect. And you know, if I ask for 5, I may get 1 or 2. And if they say they don't have any, I would actually call. I'll say, tell you what, don't worry about it. I know you can't think of anyone right now, but I'll call you back next month and see where you are. And guess what? I call back next month. You know, Tracy, I forgot to get someone for you. Well, no problem. I'll call you back and check with you again. I'll call about the same time, see if you have any questions about anything, and I'll check back with you. So after about a couple months, guess what? They were looking for business for me. That was the strongest personal promotion I ever had. So after about 4 years, 3 years, I didn't have to really prospect anymore. Most of it was referral business. Good question.
Okay, let's see. Mark Rodriguez, do you have scripts that you can share with us?
There are scripts that I use and I've used in the past from some of the professionals out there and the coaches out there. As the moderators on the phone here today, on the internet, maybe I'll get a few for you guys and we'll put something on a website or something that I'll give you some basic scripts that you can use that can really give you an impact. You know, yes, I'll be able to do that.
Okay, and I will. So on the replay page, we will upload the scripts and the notes that Mr. Brown gives us. Okay, let's see. In one moment, lots of questions coming in. One moment while I do up the next. Okay, Jordan Schaffner.
Yes.
Where do you find list of people to call? These days, many people are on the do not call list.
Yeah, you do get that on the do not call list. What you do in the format that you want to do it in is they still have the same reference directories that you can get digitally online now. And then I used to call from the reference directories, or I will go, like, say if I wanted to get some new listings, you know, a lot of times it wasn't even my listing. I would call around other agents' listings that was in the neighborhood, and I would basically tell them that, hi, I'm Tracy Brown with XYZ Company. A home is just listed in your area, XYZ. Do you know of anybody who will be considering moving into your neighborhood? The sales price of this home over there is $149,900 or what have you. Oh, you know what? They want to know. They're nosy. They want to know what the price is, and then you build a dialogue from that. Those who are on the do not call list, even if you call them and they say, don't call me again, that's fine. You just don't call them again. You mark it off. But most of them put that on there because they're so gullible. So you call them, and if you handle your script well and don't be salesmanshipy but educational, informative, they're not going to say anything. You know, so you have to have a presentation that warrants to what you're doing. So that's what I've always done. I've seen those lists. I remember when it first came out. That didn't really faze me a bit.
A question from Shamika Abram.
Yes.
Her question is, how are you getting, and this may be repetitive, but how are you getting 50 contacts a day?
Oh, that was easy. Once you use a cross-reference directory, which you can actually get it digital now, and the information that you have, what I will do is I'll sit down and I'll get my list. I normally would take me about 200 numbers that I need, names, and then I will call. Now, what I will do is I will go down the list and just call with my presentation. Hi, I'm Tracy Brown with XYZ Realty, and I would like to know, when are you planning on moving? If you were to move, where would you go? How soon would you have to be there? See those questions I'm hitting? And that's all I would say. No, I'm not interested in moving. Okay, by the way, do you know of anybody who may be interested? Well, you know, I really don't know anyone. No problem. Thank you for your time. I'll check back with you again in another month. That's okay with you? And they're going to say, yeah, that's okay. Look, they've already gave me the okay to call them back again. And I will call on that list. And a contact that was one contact because the person I talked to actually could, guess what? Yeah, they can make a decision. So that's how I will make my contacts. And if you call enough contacts, sooner or later you're going to stumble upon a person who's trying to move. The old rule of thumb was every day there's at least 75 new people who want to buy or sell a home. You just got to find them. Good question. I like these questions. Keep coming in.
Sabrina Shaft, her question is, what computer program do you recommend, or what type of database do you recommend?
You know, there's so many out there today. I don't want to, kind of start endorsing other companies and databases. One of the biggest one that I used to use a while back in the day was I used Top Producer. Top Producer was a kind of a solid program. It did all I could do. Now even with Allison James, with the system that we have in place, we have a system that basically the agents can have as a part of being with Allison James, was a back office system to help them. So most companies should have one today. If they don't, I'll just leave it at that.
Here's one from Ramona Williams. In one moment, it's long.
Okay.
How do you leverage investor-driven properties when you are bombarded with phone calls from investors asking you to show them properties? Only 1% commission to buyers, cannot give leads away.
Well, that's a good question. And you know what? I didn't work with investors because investors normally would waste too much of my time. I would refer investors to someone else in my office. Now, if your specialty is working with investors, we have to come up with a strategy and a program to maximize your time with investors. You're right. Investors, they will wear you out and you make no money at the end. So I didn't work with investors unless it was like a personal friend of mine. So other than that, I didn't work with investors. So that was not my market. And that's another thing I share with agents out there. Find out what you do best in your niche, in your market. You can't be a smorgasbord. You can't serve everything. You have to find a specialty and stick with it. And don't be afraid to give up business, because I always tell people it's not your business. You never really had it. You didn't close it. So you have to find yourself a specialty. Good question, TC. I like these questions.
Okay, in one moment I'm queuing up the next.
All right.
Okay, door knocking tips. Is that, well,
that's good.
Connor Sheet is asking for door knocking tips.
Door knocking tips? Well, you know, when I first came into business, the broker I worked for was really strong on door knocking. I hated door knocking with passion. So I would double my contacts on the phone because I saw that I could cover more ground with a strong phone presentation than I could knocking on doors. So my presentation for you there is, if you're going to knock on doors, I would only knock on doors around listings, because you want to use that listing as a reference point. Hi, I'm so-and-so with XYZ company, and my goal is to help residents in this area understand the values, the marketing values in this area. We've just seen a property go on the market for X amount of dollars in this area. We'd like to let you know about this property if you know of anybody who may be interested in this property. By the way, when are you planning on moving? So you want to be more informative in information, build a rapport, put them down in a reticular file, and be able to follow up with them in the future. That's how we'll handle that. But I hated door knocking with passion. Okay. Good. Good question.
And we have lots of comments on the motivation. Thank you for the motivation. Lots of comments and requests for scripts. So it's taking me a minute to roll through here. But I will just reiterate that Mr. Brown will provide scripts for you. People are asking for database referrals. Quite a few that are asking for these. So just one moment while I get through to see if there's any other questions.
Yeah, well, while he's waiting to get to another question, I just want to share everyone who's listening today. Come up with a plan, set a goal. You can do this. The business is not as difficult as people make it. There's so much technology today, but you have to streamline your day with that. You have to have a certain time that you go in the office and work every day. And that's a big challenge for a lot of agents. They don't have a plan, so they just haphazardly go in the office at a certain time. They stay all night, but then they wasn't productive during the daytime. My goal was to be home with my family and my children, so I knew when I hit the floor at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning to hit that office, I was going to take a lunch break about 1 o'clock, only an hour lunch break, come back, hit it hard based on my schedule again. 5 o'clock, I'm going home. Next day, I go home at 5 o'clock. And you don't call me on the weekends. Now, if you're an agent, you're working for me, I'll tell you to text me. You know what? You won't get me on the weekends neither as a broker as well. But nothing is that urgent. Their building's not going to burn down. No one's going to die. You have a plan in place, and it can wait till Monday morning, I'll assure you. And when you have a system in place, you can do that and live very successful at it. Did you have another question, TC?
Yeah. What do you think about door knocking on for sale by owners? This is from Shannon Bigby.
You know, I think that's a good idea. I think that may be one of my agents on the phone now. Door knocking for sale by owners, I think that's a better way. But when you go there, don't go there trying to take their listings. But you know what? You have to jump on for sale by owners right away. I think the average is that a for sale by owner lists with the realtor within about 7 to 10 days or something like that. So you want to be information driven. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I want to give you information on this area. I see you have your home for sale by owner. When are you planning on moving? See, now I'm qualifying the question. Oh, great, great. You're moving in? Where are you moving to? Now you're getting some information. When you have to move, it's very important because that tells you their motivation. We don't have to move right away. We're just looking. We're thinking about moving. Oh, go to the next one. They're not motivated. Well, I'll keep you in my file, and I'll keep in touch with you about the trends that's happening in this area. And if you need a comparable market analysis, I may be able to do that for you as well. Here's my number. Give me a call. But however, I'll follow up with you in about 3 days and see how things are going. Is that okay? That's what I do. And I think, great, that's kind of, it could be a warm lead. Another question?
Yeah, there are more requests for scripts, more requests for where we can get cross-reference directories because you mentioned them online. So I think this is a safe time to transition. I do want to make this the last call for any additional question. I do see that we're asking for scripts and you like links toward directories, so it's duly noted. But if there's any other question that we can get answers from Mr. Brown about the material, I'd like you to type it in now, and if not, we'll go ahead and transition to the close and give Mr. Brown an opportunity to have his closing remarks. All right, so nothing else has come in, so I'd like to give you an opportunity to have your closing remarks, Mr. Brown, before we end the presentation today.
Well, I just thank everyone for tuning in today, and I challenge you to make a difference. Make a difference in your career. Make a difference for your family. Just make a difference in the industry. Thank you for your time. May the roads rise to meet you. Have a great day.
And Amanda, we'd like to give you the opportunity to have your closing remarks, and I actually have your microphone muted. I apologize for that, so let me turn you back on, Amanda. And Amanda, so are you there, Amanda?
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you as well for allowing me to be here today. If you guys have any questions about Move Up Mortgage, our process, or if you just need anything at all, please call or email me. Have a wonderful day and good luck. Happy selling.
And I'll now turn the floor over to Jeff to close us out for today.
Thank you for attending, everyone. As always, we will have a recorded version of this webinar ready in the next day or so, and you will be receiving a copy of that. We will also be posting it on our website for your review. If you have any questions about our brokerage or are interested in learning more about working with Allison James Estates and Homes and keeping 100% of your hard-earned commission, please do not hesitate to contact me. My contact information will also be sent out with the email of the recorded webinar. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to seeing you next month.